When I was younger, I used to struggle a lot with depression. So I was skinny fat and I was a lot smaller than most of the other guys in my class. And so I would get kind of bullied, kind of disrespected, And I was like never able to attract a girl either. And I remember while I was getting bullied, I met this dude and he was like way bigger than everyone else. And I decided I was like, I'm gonna try and make this dude my best friend. He was on like the football team, and I was like, if I'm friends with him, then people would stop picking on me. But then around 15 years old, I realized something big. I realized one of the biggest reasons why I felt like a loser and why I was struggling with depression. And it is basically because there is this like invisible social hierarchy. So when I was younger, I was definitely like at the bottom of the barrel. I was getting bullied by people, and I wouldn't be able to attract a girl any when I was younger, and I would like try and be friends with the guys up here so then I wouldn't get bullied. But then near the end of high school, it was like I would start climbing up. I remember at the beginning of high school I was like that basic little skinny fat kid, but near the ends, like everyone, I had a lot of friends near the end of high school and they knew me as like, oh, he's the guy with muscle and stuff. And I hate this kind of notion that I see on the internet where it's like, oh, I don't want to compete with other people and stuff. Life is a competition. Like, this is what life is. You're competing for the job, you're competing for the business, you're competing for the girl that you like. You like that girl, well, there's a bunch of other guys that like that girl as well. So life is a competition, and there is clearly a social hierarchy of people. There are some people that are up here and there's some people that are down here. So if you're not playing the game, you're basically just losing. And so my younger self was definitely like at the bottom of the barrel. Like, I was porn addicted. I was addicted to video games. I was so unathletic. I didn't do any sports. Like, I was down here, bro. But basically in this video, I'm going to teach you just a couple habits that you could start to be able to actually start climbing up this invisible social hierarchy. And so the first habit that you can start today is going to be getting into the gym and building muscle. So when I was younger, like I said, I was skinny fat and I thought it was just all genetic. Like, I would literally sit down and play on my Xbox, and I had like a box of potato chips, like a box of 40 like bags of potato chips, and I would just eat like 5 or 6 of those every single day. Like, that's how bad my health was. And I would blame it on genetics. I'll be like, oh, well, I'm skinny fat because, my parents struggle with their weight and stuff. And then I would look at this one friend. He was always like athletic. He played multiple sports. And I was like, oh, it's genetic. It's genetic. But one day I was like watching this gaming YouTuber, right? And he did like this. He did like a bicep flex in his webcam. And I remember he was jacked, right? I was like, holy shit. So I could be jacked and I could, play video games. I looked up his name and I saw he was working out. I was like, wait, why don't I just start working out? And so I remember I went to my local gym and I saw that best friend there. I saw that friend that I always said was like, oh, it's genetic. He's just genetically lean. Bro, he was at the gym, bro. It snapped for me so quick. I was like, oh my God, this is what I can do. I could start to improve. And so later into high school, I became known as like the guy with the muscle. Like, all my friends in high school knew me. I just had the muscle, right? I started getting more confident. I started being able to attract women. I'll never forget this day. It was my senior year in high school. And I was like in the stalls using the bathroom, and I come out and this guy, he's, a little smaller than me, and he was like, whoa, big guy, blah, blah, blah. And I was just, it kind of hit me. I walked out the bathroom. I was like, dude, like back then when I was younger, I would have never got that respect from someone else. It was always disrespect, but I just had some random dude like compliment me. Like, that's awesome. And you've heard like time and time again in so many videos that you need to work out, you need to build muscle. Like, bro, you've heard it in the videos that are like how to attract a girl. Dude, you've heard it in so many videos. I've heard it on videos on like injury prevention in jiu-jitsu. Like, the highest leverage thing that you can do as a guy is to start working out, get into the gym and start building muscle. Like, as you get bigger, as you build mass, as you get stronger, you start to feel more confident and you will start to climb this social hierarchy that we talked about earlier. Just like my younger self, like I was that skinny fat kid that always got disrespected. I was never able to attract a girl, and just this one thing made me more confident, made me actually start getting respected by, friends and stuff. And I was actually becoming attractive. And by the way, man, if you want to learn any more about this, go check out top link in the description for our community, and you can also get one-on-one help from me there. But we're not just gonna stop there, right? We're not just gonna start the gym and just that be the only thing. We're not gonna be like a one one-dimensional person, because so many people that are going to the gym, they're still like skipping some of their workouts. They're still like addicted to these weird things like social media, junk food, drinking, hookups, pornography, all these weird ass things. The next step I'm going to ask you to do is something that most people watching this aren't going to do because it's really, really uncomfortable. But you gotta realize it will put you so far ahead of other people. It is going to be a dopamine detox. So all dopamine is really just motivation. It's your motivation levels in your brain, right? And so right now you're probably way down here. You have a baseline dopamine that's so low. Like my younger self, I was addicted to pornography. I was eating junk food and playing video games all day. So it was all the way down here. I wasn't motivated enough to start the gym like ever until I, saw that video. And it was just really hard for me to quit all my bad habits. So here's basically how dopamine works. Your baseline is like this, and when you do some weird habit like hooking up, drinking alcohol, watching pornography, eating junk food, playing video games, all those bad things, scrolling, you get like an artificial spike. Like it is so high. And then your baseline goes lower. So before you up here, now you're down here. But when you do more of the good habits like meditating, reading your Bible, working out, working on your business or studying for your career, whatever it is, you kind of get like a smaller spike, right? It's nowhere near as big as all the weird shit. But then your baseline is higher. So before you're down here, now you're up here. And so we can just re-heal our dopamine levels by consistently doing all the good habits and doing less of the bad ones. And so like I said about being one-dimensional and the gym is like the only productive thing you do, you can imagine so many people live that life. Like when I started working out, like it's good, right? It really saved me from suicidal thoughts, and that's awesome. But I still felt kind of depressed and I still felt kind of lost. Like you can imagine my life, I would still skip the gym a lot of days to stay home and play video games or watch pornography or do all this weird stuff. And so this is one thing that you could start that would put you ahead of so many other people. Most guys honestly just go to the gym and then they're like going out partying, drinking, doing drugs, hooking up, whatever. We don't want to be like that. We don't want to be this one-dimensional person, and your brain is actively like trying to tell you like, oh, this is bullshit, I'm not even gonna try it, this is retarded. Your brain is actively trying to convince you that this shit doesn't work, even though you know just as well as me that if you started this, it will put you ahead of so many other people. Like, bro, if you're going to the gym, that's cool, right? You're eventually gonna get, the 10 out of 10 physique, but bro, you don't want to be one-dimensional. You don't want to still have some weird ass like social media addiction, porn addiction, all this weird shit, Being able to break the chains of having low dopamine baseline levels and being addicted to all this weird shit, it's like a sigh of relief, because you're like reminded that this is how life should have been. You should have basically had like healthy baseline dopamine for your whole life. And it honestly doesn't even take long to get it. Like we know that getting the 10 out of 10 physique, it takes like years. Like it takes like over 10 years maybe to get your physique. But bro, like fixing your dopamine levels, it only takes like a month, 2 months. That is insane. You could literally achieve this. You can achieve so much results from this and within like 1 or 2 months. Like that is insane. That would put you ahead of like so many people. Like imagine you feel way more motivated to do all the work. Like I woke up today and I didn't even like, when I was younger, I would feel so unmotivated to get up and I would just scroll and then I would, watch porn in the morning. Now, when it's like some weird shit, like I wake up and I kind of feel like scrolling, I kind of think, I'm like, I don't even really enjoy it. I remember when I was on a dopamine detox in high school, I tried playing video games again. It's a long story, but I tried playing video games and I maybe played it for a month, 2 months, I think. And I hated it because my baseline dopamine was so healthy. I was just like, I don't even enjoy this, I would rather be working out or going to wrestle or jiu-jitsu and stuff. And I have to be honest, it takes a lot to be able to commit to this lifestyle that I preach on this channel. Because imagine life when you're in the gym. You're gonna eventually become attractive. You're literally gonna have girls thirst after you, right? And then, the internet, and most guys are gonna be saying like, oh my God, you need to hook up and all men are bad and all women are bad. You're gonna be hearing all this weird shit. But if you, follow my advice and you dopamine detox, you start meditating, reading your Bible, you start to like take a step back and you would be like, how did God intend me to, live this life? Like the ability to be able to say no to all the weird dopamine addictions, no to the pornography. Like when you feel lustful, you can kind of look at it and just see it for what it is. It's an emotion. You don't have to take action on it, right? And just a little bonus thing, imagine how much more attractive that would make you be. Like you have this one girl, right? She has like 10 guys in her text messages, right? They're all like physically attractive because they've been going to the gym. But then she sees you and you have like no social media. You're fixing your mental health, you're reading your Bible every day, you're meditating, you're on a dopamine detox. Bro, do you know how far ahead that puts you? Because she's like, oh my god, okay, he is attractive and he does this shit. Like he is like a godsend person, you know? I have one last story I want to tell you. I remember I was on, a lunch with my grandma the other day, right? And we were talking about favorite food. And if you know my story, I love pizza. That is my favorite food. I ate one pizza every day for over a year when I was like dirty bulking. Like it sounds like some shitty like YouTube challenge, right? And I remember we were talking about it and she was like, Carson, how do you just resist, eating pizza? Like when it's in front of you, how do you resist it? And I kind of said it like I was like, oh well, I just don't move my hand to it and I don't eat it, and we kind of laughed about it. But a lot of my family says like this is my gift. Like I'm very disciplined, and I'm just able to resist all the bad habits so easily. Honestly, it isn't a gift. It isn't. I really just went on a dopamine detox. I fixed my dopamine, and now it is so much easier to look at all these weird vices, these weird modern addictions, and just say no to them. And then live how God intended me to, working out, going to jujitsu, working on my business, meditating, reading my Bible every day. It's really awesome when you start this lifestyle. Like going to the gym and dopamine detox is honestly two of the biggest things that you could do to be able to climb this social hierarchy. Like, bro, remember my story. I was like all the way down here, right? I was like bottom of the barrel. And I actually, near the end of high school, I climbed up pretty high. And so it was awesome. And so I really hope this video helped you, man. And if you want my personal help with topics like this, dopamine detox, mental health, all these things, go check out top link in the description for our community. It'll be awesome if you join, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.